Right, okay, folks, welcome to this week's Friday Waffle. Apologies about the lack of one last week. The reason I've got my headphones on is because I notice if I'm if I'm recording a video in the living room where I am now, it's very echoey. I noticed that last waffle, and I'm not going to piss about with the green screen nonsense. It looked utter shite. It really, really did. I'll leave that to the professionals like Panther and Ponder. So yeah, how the hell are you? I hope you're all good. Weather-wise, it's weird. Well, it's not weird in the slightest actually. It feels like it was kind of summertime just about 2 weeks ago, and it now feels like we're into full-on winter. It's pissing me rain. It's freezing cold. I've got the heating on. Um, Actually, my daughter was complaining about me not having the heating on during the day, and I thought to myself, right, you know what? I'm not going to have the heating turned on, so I'm just scratching my foot. Um, I'm not going to have the heating turned on in the whole house all day because that is literally going to bankrupt me. So I bought a little halogen heater thing from Amazon. It was only 25 quid. Well, pardon me, it gets quite good reviews, so hopefully that'll keep her happy. Either that, or she can just put a jumper on. So yeah, play Blackpool. That's pretty much going to dominate this waffle. Let me think. Let me think. It was last weekend. I will just. I usually put out a kind of play Blackpool. I usually put like a separate video for it, but I'm not going to bother because I mean I've been to that many of these things. I used to like walk around and take videos and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? You've seen it. You know what play Blackpool's all about. So yeah, I went down. I had a quiz night on Friday night, and fortunately, well, we did actually win, which was excellent. I was back home for about 10 o'clock. My girlfriend was staying over, which was nice. But I had to be up for what time did I get up at? 5:15. Yeah, 5:15. So it was dark. Picked up one of my mates, Ian, and we headed through to Glasgow to meet one of the guys, Craig. Now, we got onto the motorway. Craig told me where we were going to meet him. And we got onto the motorway and we were heading south. And then, you know, that way I was driving for about 10 minutes and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, I didn't actually check what direction I should be picking them up on. And I phoned them, and as I thought, we were going in the wrong direction. So we had to come off at, I think it was Hamilton, and then spin back round, head back up the M74, head north, and then picked up Craig. Got Craig very kindly got a McDonald's for us. We got what did we get? We got one of their muffin things and a cup of coffee, so that was lovely. And then we were soon. It wasn't long before we were heading back, heading in the right direction, heading south towards Blackpool. The weather was fine. I think yeah, the weather was actually quite nice. I think it was quite sunny. In fact, it was. It was actually really really nice. So we got down there about I don't know. It was just after 10:30. Now, the first talk that I was doing was at 12 o'clock, so that kind of gave us quite a bit of time. Got down there, and I said to the lads, like fortunately, I managed to sort them out with some like press passes or press tickets, which basically meant they didn't have to queue up. So Ian and Craig, they went straight in and I headed to the sort of the talk area, and I soon met up with Steve of Retro and Lim, and we just kind of got things set up. The first, like I said, the first talk was at 12 o'clock, and it was the indie one, and there was four absolutely top-notch guys who I was going to be talking to. So yeah, we had a few kind of teething problems, unfortunately. The microphone, there was only one working microphone, which when you've got four guests plus me, it's a bit shit. So yeah, what we had to do was, or what I had to do was ask a question and then pass the microphone along, and the guys took it in turns to took it in turns to answer the questions, which kind of it was slightly annoying because it meant that it was very much ask a question, get an answer, get another answer, so on, and then ask another question. If we'd all had mics, there could have been a bit more kind of like free flowing. But you know what? I think it went really well. I know the crowd seemed to really enjoy it, and I know the four lads all really enjoyed it. I mean, absolutely top notch guys. They really, really were. Um, I mean, what Graham Cowie of Geezer Games. I know Graham pretty well. I've met him a few times. He's been on my channel a few times. He does watch my live streams and that kind of stuff. So it was really nice to catch up. The other three lads. Now I do apologise. There was Daniel, and there was Mike Tucker. Mike is part of Bitmap Bureau, who did not fight Final Vendetta. Basically, it's like Final Fight, but we spruced up graphics, and their piece de resistance, which is Xenocrisis, absolutely sublime game. And I'm terrible with names. I can't remember the other guy, but four absolutely top blokes, really were. Was I nervous? Yeah, I was. I mean, I can all be quiet, alarm. I can absolutely talk for Britain. I know you'll find that very, very hard to believe, but I can. But as we're driving down, it's quite funny because Ian and Craig, they were obviously quite oblivious as to not so much how I was feeling. I mean, I was enjoyed the trip down, but I kept thinking about what happens if I make an arse of it. What happens if I freeze? What happens if I'm unable to speak? All these things go through your mind. You're thinking, because at the end of the day, I've got a lot of responsibility. I was doing all of these talks, and I mean, it was myself that did all the questions, and you're thinking to yourself, well, what happens if they're shit? What happens if people don't enjoy them? So I had all that kind of going through my head, but once I got there, I was really, really keen to kind of get started, and I have to say, within as soon as I started talking, I was utterly relaxed, and I don't mind admitting it's quite a thrill actually being able to do that. To have. I mean, I don't know how many people the room held. There was probably about, I don't know, maybe about 100 chairs, maybe slightly more. I'm not too sure. I actually thought there was more last year or 2 years ago, but according to Steve, he said it was exactly the same. But yeah, that one went really, really well. And then so we had, because of all the kind of pissing about the technical difficulties, it was going to be, the first one started at 10, and it was to run for like an hour. So it was kind of 40 minutes of me asking my questions. Though I did run out of time. I still had quite a lot of questions to ask, but I think it's important that people do get a chance to ask questions, because you know the questions that I ask are questions that I've come up with. Everybody, you could have 100 people in a room and ask them, what do you want to ask, and you probably wouldn't get two of the same questions. So I think it's important that you do give the audience an opportunity to ask their own questions. So, like I says, after 40 minutes, I handed it over to the audience, and there were some really good questions. So yeah, because of the technical fuck ups to begin with, I think it was it should have technically finished at 11 o'clock, but I think it was about maybe 20 past 10, 20 past 11, I should say. And that's 12 o'clock was when the main man, Mr. John Romero, was going to be coming along. So I just kind of hung about, and we were trying to get the microphone working, etc. And fortunately, one of the guys that watches my channel, Colin Jones, Colin was on mic duties. He figured out. He noticed that with the mic that wasn't working, if you're up close, it was working, but the minute you started walking any sort of distance away, it was cutting off. It was, you weren't getting a signal. And Colin cleverly ascertained there was actually the batteries that had run out. So I went to reception, and after a bit of rushing about at the last minute, we got a spare set of batteries, popped them in, and boom, with 2 microphones, which was great. So, yep, 12 o'clock came, and I thought to myself, it's going to be busy. It's going to be busy. Well, I can tell you, I've never seen that room as rammed as it was when for the John Romero talk. There was standing room only, and I was talking to a couple of guys afterwards, and they said that there was actually people couldn't get in because it was so busy. I mean, all the seats were taken. There was tons of people standing at the back. There was people standing at either side. And I said there was people that couldn't even get in. So I reckon there was probably easily 200 people for the John Romero one. And like all special guests, John arrived a few minutes late. That's what he should be doing. And yeah, it was just him and his wife Brenda. Now I went up to him and just said, "How you doing, John?" In fact, you know what? I completely no, I'm talking bollocks. I'm talking utter bollocks. I was going to say I actually introduced myself to John earlier on. I didn't. I didn't. The first time I met John was when he came into the actual room itself, and I just I said, "My name's Al." I said, "I'm going to be talking to you," and we shook hands. So yeah, sat down and started. Now I will be honest, I wasn't expecting Mrs. Romero to be taking part in it. And when she sat down, I was like, shit. All the questions were uh, for John. So if Mrs. Romero, Brenda, if you're watching this, I do apologise. If I had known that you were actually going to be partaking in the talk, along with John, I would have 100% got questions for yourself. But I wasn't made aware that I thought it was only going to be John. I was told it was just going to be John on his own for that panel, just him and myself. So I didn't have any questions for Brenda, which was a bit of a pisser. But yeah, I mean, it was actually quite good to get the first panel under my wing, or under my hat, I should say, because it allowed me to settle really quick. So I was really up for it. So when John, we started the John talk, I was loving it. I really was enjoying myself. And you know what? It's absolutely mental. I kept having to kind of pinch myself. I'm sitting there in front of 200 people, and on my left hand side, sitting shoulder to shoulder with me is fucking John Romero. Mr. Doom, the guy that wrote Doom, Heretic, Hexen, Doom 2, Doom 3. Mind blowing. And, I felt so honoured to have been given that opportunity. I've got to thank Steve from Retro and Lim for basically putting faith in me. I mean, I knew that I was doing them a good turn because you don't get paid. I've got to put that out there right now. You don't get paid. I did get my hotel paid for. So anyway, I'll talk about that shortly. I didn't get my expenses. I mean, I had to pay to get down there. I got a free ticket and I got my hotel room paid. One little thing that does niggle me quite a lot, and I did say that to Steve last year or 2 years ago, is the guys that actually own the play events, considering the big part that some people play, and I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but I did play quite a big part in that event. You know, I did the 3 talks. I did all the questions. It would have been nice if you got an email or a message from the play organizer. I think it's Andy. I don't know what his name is. Just to say, listen, thanks very much for what you did. It was great. Because the feedback that I personally got and I've seen online has been wonderful. Everybody said they thought that the talks are great. You know, even John Romero himself. You know, as we once we finished, he did say, you know, thanks very much. He says really good questions. I mean, the thing is, it was obvious that John is a professional. He's obviously done hundreds of interviews over the years. But yeah, like I said, I want to thank Steve for giving me the opportunity, for putting trusting that I was going to deliver, and I think I did. I think I did. Would I change anything about how it went? Don't think so. I don't think so. One thing that I wouldn't mind trying to improve a wee bit is I'm conscious that I do read from the computer. You know, when I was asking questions, I mean, some of my questions were quite kind of lengthy, and I was conscious that I was reading off a computer. It would be nice to be able to almost kind of do it freehand, but I don't think I'm quite there yet. I don't think it bothered people the fact that I was reading a computer, because at the end of the day, I'm sure the people know that, you know, we're not professionals. We're just fellow retro gamers. We're just gaming fans doing what we love. But yeah, mind blowing. It's funny. I was talking to my girlfriend about it the other day there, and I said, you know what? When I think back to 2013, when I first started YouTube, you know, it was just me. It was a really old phone, and I was playing some shit game, and you know, I was getting like a couple of views per video, and it's mental to think how I've managed to go from that to hosting a big event in front of quite a lot of people and talking to John Romero plus all these other wonderful people. How did that happen? Yeah, mental, absolutely mental. But no, I mean it was brilliant, absolutely fantastic talking to John. I did throw in a couple of cheeky questions. I'm not going to give you any spoilers. I have noticed already that quite a few people have been putting out their own videos. I mean, I noticed when I was doing the talks, there was people, especially for the John Romero one, there was people with their cameras. So I knew that there was going to be quite a lot of videos of it getting put out on people's channels, and it's quite funny because I was watching. I was watching one. I just watched the first 5 minutes of it, and it was a guy, and he recorded the John Romero talk, and loads of people were saying, "Oh, great video, man! Fantastic! That's really good." And I was kind of thinking, "Do I say great video? Technically, it's mine's. I mean, yeah, I didn't record it, but he videoed me reading out my own questions, so theoretically, that's mine's." Yeah, I mean, no, listen, you know, I don't have a problem at all with people sharing these things, because if I was to try and get anything back from Play Blackpool, I suppose it's the exposure. I suppose more people are aware of me. This funny little cheeky Scotch chappie. Um, you know, but yeah, so that's good. I mean, I have picked up quite a few subscribers in the last couple of days, which I'm assuming is probably down to that, you know. But I did say to Steve from Retro and Limb, I says, you need to get the finger out, mate, and we need to get these videos put out, because if we don't, then other people are just going to put out their own videos, and we're effectively missing the boat. So we want to get our videos put out. I did say to Steve when I was down at Blackpool, I said, I presume you don't have any issues at all once Retro and Limb get their videos put out. He doesn't have any issue with me taking the video and putting it on my own channel? And he said no. And you know what? I'm glad he did, because if he'd said, well, actually, yeah, there is a problem, I would have probably had a problem with that, because, like I said, I didn't get paid for it. If I was getting paid, then I would be saying it's like intellectual property. That interview belongs to Play Blackpool, but because he didn't pay anything, they didn't pay me any money for doing it, then as far as I'm concerned, that video kind of belongs to me. It doesn't belong to me, but I'm going to have a free reign to use that, because, like I says, it was me, and it was my questions, and it was me that was doing the talking. So I don't really feel like I've got to credit anybody. I mean, if I do use a video, I 100% will obviously put a link to Retro and Limb. So that was the John Romero one, and then I can't remember what I did. I think I went away and had a bite to eat. One of the really nice things about being like sort of press, or I was lucky enough to get a VIP ticket. I don't know what the difference is between VIP and press. Not sure. Don't know. I don't think there's any difference actually. Well, you get a different coloured kind of band, but I don't actually know if you get anything extra. I don't think you do. Because yeah, one of the nice things about having that kind of band, they have a room at the back of Norbreck where anybody that's got that can go, and there's a lovely spread of food. There's sandwiches, there's wraps, there's crisps, there's juice, pecora, you name it. Really, really nice. So I think I went in there for a wee bit and kind of stuffed my face. And then, yep, 4 o'clock, excuse me, we had the final panel talk, which was the old mucker Bill Harbison. There was Tim Fallon, Sid Genius, and there was Dan Malone. Now Dan worked for Palace and also Bitmap Brothers. Again, three utterly brilliant guys. Really, really were. I mean, I've met Bill up before. Bill's been on my YouTube channel a few times, or he's been on once, I should say. Never met Tim. Tim's a lovely guy. He is very, very shy. He's very, very quiet. In fact, it's quite funny because midway through the panel talk, we had the two microphones. The rain came on, and the room that we're in, there's a big, like a glass roof type thing, and yeah, they had one of the windows open, and the rain started to piss in. So we had to kind of abandon things for about 5 minutes while people kind of scrabbled to kind of get away from the rain. And the noise as well was just insane. So we had to turn the volume up with the microphones. And yeah, I said, lastly, there's Dan Malone of Palace. Now, I was talking to Dan later on that night. He's an absolute wonderful guy. He's really, he had the kind of hat on. He looks like somebody that's been playing for like a rock band. He's a right kind of quirky character, really nice. So I said to Dan, "Do you fancy coming on to?" I said, "What would be really good is getting you and Richard Leinfeldner, ex Palace as well. Get the pair of them on for a video." So Dan says he's absolutely up for that. So that'll be good. So yeah, really, really good. Three brilliant guests. Again, people seem to really enjoy the questions that I asked. I managed to get through them all, and then we opened up the floor to the microphone. We opened up the microphone to the audience and had some really good questions. So that was the last panel. After it, a few people came up to me and introduced themselves, and and it's always nice. I mean, I know there's a few guys that I met at Blackpool, and they said that they watched my channel, but they never comment, which is fine. I understand that commenting and making people aware that they're there is not for everybody. So I don't have a problem with that at all. But really, really nice when people come up and say hello. I mean, throughout the day, a few people came up to me and just they said that they really enjoyed the talk. So that's that's all the thanks I need. Knowing that you've done something that people enjoy, is brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so that was the kind of talks. I mean, there's plenty other better videos than mine that's going to show you Blackpool, so don't expect a lot of footage. What I probably will do at the very end, I'm going to I'll stick up some photographs. I'm not going to bother putting any videos or that because yeah, I don't see, you can watch the I will be, once the panel talks get put up for Retro and Limb, I'm going to download them and then I'm going to put them out on my own channel. I will also put them out as podcasts because I know a few people do like to listen to these things on a podcast, so I will do that. But yeah, I mean, Blackpool, you've got the main one big hall. There's arcade machines through the back. There was a number of pinball tables. There weren't that many pinballs. I don't know, maybe about 10, possibly something like that. Arcade machines. There was just like one big. I was going to say circle. It's more like a square of cabs. I don't know. There was maybe. No, there's no. I'm talking shite. There's actually no. There was a no. It was a kind of square shape. I don't know. There was maybe 50 cabinets, maybe a bit more. There was a lot of machines that I never saw. Like I thought, oh, Rolling Thunder, not there. Track and Field, not there. Hypersports, not there. What did I actually play? I played 1942. I had a shot of Star Wars, but I think that must have been the same cab that was at Nerg. It was all flickery, and that was probably why nobody was actually playing it. You could still play it, but the graphics were flickering quite badly, so that was a bit of a shame. I mean, there was tons of machines. There was Space Harrier, there was Outrun, the sit down, yeah, loads of machines. But I actually played very, very little. Yeah, I don't really go to these things to play games because I've got MAME. I've got 3 MAME cabs in the house. So, if I want to play a game, I can play it. To me, it's really about the people, about meeting friends, old friends, new friends. Really nice. So let me think now. I'm going to apologise now if I've forgotten you because I'm shit with names. Colin Jones. Colin's been a watcher of my channel for, I don't know, 3, 4 years possibly. I mean, I've met Colin online before, but that was the first time I met Colin in person. It was wonderful to meet Colin because he's smaller than me. And trust me, when you're only 5'6.5" like I am, you don't get many people that are actually that are smaller. So it was quite nice to be the tall person for a change. But Colin is just as lovely and fluffy in real life as he is online. So there was Colin, there was Jambon. He's one of the guys that watches my channel. Nice to meet Jambon. Put a face to the name. Obviously, Craig Flanagan. Craig came down with me. Always good to catch up with Craig. I'm just trying to think anyone else off the channel. Like I said, my mate Ian, he came down, but he doesn't watch my channel. I know, seriously. He's been a mate for 40 years. He claims to be into retro games and he doesn't even watch my channel. Get your shit sorted, son. YouTubers I met Yellow Belly, which was excellent. We were walking towards each other and we introduced one another to each other, if that makes any sense. Nova Bug, always nice to catch up with Mr. Weatherly. Who else? Oh, bloody hell. Erwin. I can never remember your second. Is it Erwin Berhoff? I do apologise, Erwin, if I've got it wrong. Erwin's one of Lactobacillus Prime's mates. Erwin's a good lad. I mean, he comes across from Holland every year without missing any to take part in these. So I spent quite a bit of time with Erwin, in the morning after we had breakfast and we sat and had a good blether. It was a really nice guy who I met. He just came up and started talking to me. John, I think his name was. Um, Now, John reminded me of Dominic Diamond, but with a really big fuck off beard. Yeah, that's what he kind of looked like. Big tall guy, lovely guy. Spent quite a bit of time talking to John at night time and also on the Sunday morning. Oh, bloody hell. Who else? Obviously, Graham Cowie. I knew Graham from old. I says the guys in the panels, Mike Tucker, top blokes. Brilliant. John Romero, can't forget him. Obviously, Steve from Retro and Limps. Always nice to catch up with Steve. Trying to think, was there anyone else that I kind of met? I mean, there was loads of people that came up to me and was talking to. But I'm trying to think of people that I knew. There was one guy, absolutely cracking dude. He's got a channel called, is it Games Made of Cardboard? His name, I think, is Bill. Now, I do apologise, man, if I've got your name wrong, but I'm sure his name is Bill. I was in the retailers lounge bit area, whatever it is, and he came up to me and he just says, "Look, I just want to thank you for the really good panel talks." And we got talking to him and his mate, and yeah, cracking bloke. In fact, he was watching my. I did a live stream a couple of days ago, and he was in that as well. So yeah, there's tons of people. There's a lot of people. There's quite a lot of people I know from YouTube that weren't there this year. Oh, I can't forget Pete on a retro tip. I was talking to Pete and his mate for I think probably about an hour on Saturday night before I had to kind of toddle off and get to my bed. So always nice catching up with Pete. Pete's he is he's got an absolutely cracking YouTube channel. I mean, I think he's got something like 30,000 subscribers. His channel has just rocketed, but that's because he puts so much effort into his videos. He's not done a lot of videos, but what he does put out is insanely good. Kim Justice, yeah, I met Kim quite a few times. We were sitting in the kind of green room having a good old chin wag, so always really nice to catch up with Kim. Yeah, Tim, on a retro tip, for having a massive channel, he is so down to earth. Not that you'd expect any differently, but he doesn't monetize his channel. He doesn't take Patreon. It's actually quite a breath of fresh air to see something like that. Now, I'm not having a dig at anybody that makes money from YouTube, because you're looking at somebody. I make about £8 a month. I don't do Patreon, but I do monetize my channel. But yeah, Pete he could probably make serious coin if he was to do a Patreon. I think he does. Sorry, I beg your pardon. He does monetize his channel, but it's just through like ad revenue, the same as me. But it's actually really refreshing to. He told me that he decided to do Patreon, and after a couple of weeks, he said it kind of hit him, the fact that when you've got people who give you money every month, it goes from being a hobby, in other words, something that you can do, or no, I can't be bothered to do it this time. If you're getting paid, then that changes the whole dynamics of the thing. And he said he felt that bad that he ended up actually refunding the money that some people had given him. But yeah, Pete's an absolute top bloke, really good. So yeah, that was the people. You got the big hall. You've got all the arcade games. You've got at the back. You've got you had like indie stuff. You had like networking. Had all these PlayStation, Xboxes connected up. I don't know what it was. I can't remember what they were actually playing. But you've got all the old kind of systems there, gaming consoles and computers. It was really good to see. Oh, Charlie Farr. Yeah, I was talking to Charlie as well. It was really good to what do you call it? Have a shot of the Sharp X68000. That is lovely, really nice. The only thing is the game that was on was a bit pish. It was some kind of sideways scrolling kind of beat 'em up, but the joystick that it's on this big kind of arcade stick thing. It was like an analog stick. You're trying to play a kind of arcade beat 'em up using this analog stick. So there's all this, like, you had to move it to about there before it actually kind of started moving. But nice to kind of see that. I would absolutely have loved that. Yeah, so that was kind of all the home systems. I must admit, I don't really bother with home systems because if I don't have the original system myself, I mean, I've got all the common ones, your Mega Drives, NESes, PC Engines. So I'm never ever going to say, oh, I think I'll have a shot of Sonic the Hedgehog because I can play it on emulators, whatever. Like I said, it was nice to get sort of be able to play these quite rare systems. And one thing I was going to shout out about was they had in the centre of the area to the kind of right that backed onto this corridor that we had all the pinball tables was like the main stage, and there was a number of like events going on. There was Trista Bites. She was doing all the sort of hosting of these different events, and in fact, I completely forgot to mention that. I met Jason Bradbury, aka Mr. Gadget Show. He was walking past, and I'd spoke to Jason before. I think it was a couple of years ago. So Jason was doing a sort of a kind of disco thing with Trista. That was quite good fun, and something that I really enjoyed. I didn't think I would on the Sunday. No, the Saturday actually. No, it was the Sunday. Yeah, it was the Sunday after the talks. On the Sunday, John Romero was taking on all comers at Doom. I think he played about 4 or 5 matches and he effectively wiped the floor off them. So for an old bloke, John has still got it. But then, to be fair, he's probably played more Doom than anybody. Yeah. But it was actually quite good fun watching. I wouldn't normally watch some kind of death match, but it was actually pretty good because there was one wee guy, he must have been about, I don't know, about 15 years old. He was playing John Romero at Doom, and John, I think, was about 10-0 up. It was first to 20, and this wee guy came right back. He came back to something like, I don't know, 10-9, and then eventually John kind of stepped it up and won 20, whatever it was. But yeah, that's kind of Blackpool. At the bar, I mean, I didn't drink much. I think I had a couple of pints of cider. So plus points. Oh yeah, I can't not mention this. I was staying at the Norbreck Hotel, which is it's the soul of play. You couldn't have play Blackpool and it's not in the Norbreck Hotel. It's an utter shithole. Now I'd been warned prior to going down that yeah, you want to take your own towels, you want to have change the bedding, etc. Now, I was one of these people that, I was a wee bit, yeah, you hear that. It's like anything. If you have a bad experience, you'll tell lots of people. But if you have a good experience, chances are you won't tell. So I was kind of thinking it's going to be one of these ones. The people that you hear are the people that have had a bad experience. Surely it can't be that bad. Yeah, it is. It is. The room I had, room 804, it was apparently in the presidential suite. Now, I don't think that means anything because each of the suites have got their own name. There was like the Windsor suite and all that kind of bollocks. Now, when I got into my room, I thought, this is all right. This is actually all right. But it's when you actually look closely, look at the walls, there's marks in the walls, people have been spilling alcohol, coffee, whatever, on the walls. And yeah, it's when you look up close, you see it. Skirting boards were completely manky. The bed, fortunately, did look. Yeah, it looked clean. It did look clean. I'm not going to exaggerate and say it wasn't clean. The bed looked okay. Bathroom was It was all right. Again, on closer inspection, you could tell it needed a pretty good clean. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I kind of got changed and I headed back out. This was on the Saturday night. I did all the talks, went up to my room, and then I kind of headed back out. That was fine. Got back about 11 o'clock. Went to my bed. Pillows were a bit on the hard side, but anyway, fine. Fell asleep. Bed was a bit hard, but again, it was all right. It was okay. Fell asleep until about 3:30, and Lisa, who was next door to me. I don't know who Lisa was, but she told me her name was Lisa. Or at least the guy that was shouting told me her name was Lisa. Lisa and Andy. Now, apparently, Andy let Lisa walk home for 2 miles, and Andy doesn't love Lisa anymore. And basically, Lisa was calling Andy for everything. So, yeah, this was right outside my door at 3:30 in the morning. Lisa and Andy are going at it, hammer and tong, arguing, by the way, nothing else. This went on for about half an hour, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, I'm never ever going to get back to sleep again. So eventually, I heard a knock at the door. No, I actually thought it was my door because it was right next door to me. I heard a knock, and then I heard somebody saying, "Hello, reception," and it went quite quiet. And I thought, "Thank fuck for that." And I was kind of gradually starting to kind of drift off to sleep again. And then it kicks off again. Lisa's back outside, bang, 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 walking up and down, calling Andy for everything. Andy's begging forgiveness, and Lisa's not having it at all. Lisa is seriously pissed off. I mean, I was getting to the point I was going to go outside and give fucking Lisa a big cuddle and say, "Come on, it's all right. Just put it behind you, move on, and fucking get to sleep and let me get some shut eye." But no, 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 no. Lisa kept it. Just went on and on and on and on, and then it kind of settled down for a few minutes. And Lisa was back out, bang, and then Andy was back out, and he's up and down and knocking in the door. "Lisa, let me in! Fuck off, Andy! I hate you!" So this went on for about another. It felt like it went on for a couple of hours. It was probably the reality was it was probably about another 20 minutes, half an hour, and I eventually got to sleep, and my alarm went off. I think it was about 8:30 in the morning, and I felt like I'd been run over by a truck. I was absolutely exhausted. So anyway, I thought, right, you know, Sunday, let's make the most of it. I'm not working. I've done all my stuff. I can enjoy. I can enjoy meeting people. I can enjoy. I can go and buy some stuff. So got up into the shower. No towels. Check the cupboards, no towels. Check the drawers, nope, no towels. So, oh, you're on it. I completely forgot to tell you something. When it kicked off again at 4:30 in the morning, after reception had already been in the door, I thought, right, fuck this. I'm phoning reception. So I put the light on, picked the phone up, no dialing tone. So I thought, right, I'll phone the Norbreck Castle Hotel using my mobile. Um, I did a Google, got the number, tried to phone it, and it then told me that I didn't have enough credit on my phone. Now, I've got unlimited calls, but I think it must be a kind of premium number, so you've got to have like kind of credit. So I tried to add credit to my phone, and it was asking for a voucher. Now, this was 4:30 in the morning, so I thought, oh, bollocks to that. So anyway, yeah, the phone didn't work. So in the morning, like I says, no towel. I thought, right, I'm absolutely not going to get dressed and go down to reception. Why should I? So I thought, I pulled the wire for the phone and it wasn't even plugged in. I pulled the bed out, the bed almost collapsed, and I noticed there was a telephone socket behind the bed. Plugged the phone in, yeah, hey, dialing tone, phone reception. After about 5 minutes, they decided to answer. Um, Yep, good morning, reception. How can I help you? Hi there, it's Alan Stewart of room 804. Just to let you know, I don't have any towels. Could you bring them up, please? And the reception says, "Oh, could you come down and get them?" I'm like, "No, I can't. I'm ready to jump in the shower. The towels should be in the room. Can you please bring them?" 10, 15 minutes went past, no sign of the towels. So I phoned my mate Ian. I says, "Ian, any spare towels?" "Yep, I'll get them up to you soon." So about 10, 15 minutes later, Ian turned up with the towels. So yeah, not good. Not good, Norbreck Hotel. I mean, if you're not going to provide towels, which is a minimum, I mean, every hotel I've ever lived in my life has towels. If you cannot be bothered or you've missed putting towels in a room and then said guest phones you and tells you there are no towels in my room, don't say, "Can you come down and get them?" You need to go and bloody take them back. I mean, fucking hell. So yeah, Norbreak, no, I'm not impressed. It was a bit manky looking on close inspection. I'm just glad that my girlfriend wasn't there because she was meant to be coming down, but unfortunately she had to go to a funeral, which was with kind of short notice, as these things usually are. So she wasn't able to go down. But I think if she had been there, I think she'd have probably kicked off with a room. She'd have probably wanted a different room, and I don't even know if there's any room that is actually not messy. But I do know if she had been there when it all kicked off, she would have probably gone out and tackled Lisa and Andy. I'm one of these people. I kind of think, "Oh, I'll say nothing. I'll say nothing." I mean, I did at one point think to myself, "This is beyond a joke. I'm going to go out and say something." And I thought to myself, "Well, if I go out and excuse me, if I go out and sort of say, excuse me, Lisa, do you mind keeping your voice down, please?" I can guarantee I would have got a rake full of fucks fired at me. So I thought, no, probably not a good idea meeting drunk people face on, because you're just going to get, you know exactly. Excuse me, hang on. You just know where that's going to go. So yeah, if my girlfriend had been there, I think she'd have probably, she wouldn't have wanted to stay in that hotel, and I think it would have kicked off. I think she'd have probably gone outside and told Lisa exactly what she thought of her. But I'm not impressed with the Norbreck Castle Hotel. I think, oh, and then to kind of top it off, I was told, now this isn't the hotel's fault, this is Play Blackpool's fault. I was told that breakfast was provided. So by the time I got down for breakfast, I went into the breakfast place thing, whatever it is, and I said, "Can I get some breakfast, please?" And they went, "Sorry, you're too late. We closed at 9:30." I says, "Well, the reason I'm not here is because I had to wait for about 40 minutes to get a shower because you didn't put any towels." Well, I didn't say you, but there was no towels provided. I says, could you do me a bit of toast or a cup of tea? I'm not a demanding customer. I was very, very polite. And she says, "What's your room number?" I went, 804. She goes, "Your name's not down for breakfast." All right, okay, that's fine. I'll just need to go and buy a bacon roll. And she did say, "Thank you very much for being very, very understanding," which I was, because I might be a lot of things, but being a cunt is not one of them. So I ended up going to the sort of the hot food bit, which is in the kind of bar area of Blackpool, and I bought an overpriced bacon roll and an overpriced cup of tea. The food, I have to say, is not great. It is overpriced, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? But so that was that. Anything else on this Sunday? What did I do? Like I said, I watched the what do you call it? The death match thing with John Romero. Yeah, the retailers area. I was watching a video and somebody said that they reckon there was only maybe about 10 stalls I think there was more than that, and they actually said that they felt that it was quite poor this year. I actually thought it was all right. I mean, the thing about these places is you automatically assume that you're going to get a bargain. Well, don't. Prices, the prices are expensive, I would say. They're certainly a lot higher than eBay. So don't expect eBay prices. Somebody once said to me, the reason they're more expensive, you need to think about this. You're getting, you're getting to see what you're buying before you hand the money over. B, you've not got any postage. And C, you're getting the item right away. And I suppose technically you've got some sort of comeback as well. But yeah, prices are steep. I mean, there was a stall selling loads of, some really obscure kind of systems, and they're way overpriced, way overpriced. So I would, unless you've got loads of money, I would say go on eBay and take your chance. These places are expensive. Games wise, I mean, there was a lot of stalls selling, PlayStation, Mega Drive, SNES, Sega Saturn, all these Xbox 360. There wasn't an awful lot in the way of like 8-bit titles or Amiga titles. There was a couple of stalls, and they had some C64 games, and I thought, oh, excellent. So I started kind of going through them. Now I buy games not to play. I buy games just because the cover invokes a lot of happy memories, the nostalgia and all that kind of stuff. So I buy games just to sort of have the cover. I've uh, I've been building up my collection of Interceptor games and also Lamasoft games. Interceptor were one of the worst companies out there. The games were mostly shit, but there's something quite iconic about the artwork. So I was wanting to see if I could pick up some of these games. I saw a few of them. I picked up Impossible Mission. I picked up what else? Solo Flight. There was a few games I picked up, and I had them in my hand. And then when I actually looked at it, there was one. Was it Impossible Mission? And it was 15 quid. And this is for a tape. I think Solo Flight was £10. There was another one. Can't remember what it was, and it was 12 quid. I'm like, you're having a laugh. Seriously, £15 for a tape. And it wasn't even what I would class. Yeah, Fort Apocalypse. That was 15 quid. So I put them back down. I ended up buying 3 Interceptor games. I mean, they're all £5 each, which I still think is overpriced. But you know what? I wanted to buy something. What else did I buy? Yeah, on the Sunday, I went to John Romero and Brenda Romero. They were they had a stall at the bottom end. They were selling T-shirts. They were selling posters. So I bought a T-shirt and I bought a poster which John had signed, which was really nice. The poster was I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for it, but it was I would say it was overpriced for what it was, But anyway, it's something nice to have. So and I said, again, I thanked John and his wife, for being great guests, and I said, look, I hope you have a safe return journey back to Ireland. I think they were going away about 3 o'clock. And so other stalls. I bought Ava a couple of things. I bought her a manga figurine plastic model thing. And what else did I buy? I bought her a plushie thing. For myself, did I buy anything else? Don't think so. Don't think so. No, so yeah, I mean, as far as the retail thing goes, it's pretty much what it's always been. If you've got deep pockets, you could buy yourself a Vectrex. You could get an Amiga 1200. There was somebody selling an Amiga 1200 boxed with a hard disk for 280 quid, which I thought was actually quite good. That's not a bad price. I mean, if you go on eBay, they go for about 300 quid. So I thought that was actually pretty good, and it was boxed as well. If I didn't have it at 1200, I'd probably bought it. Yeah. I mean, they had other kind of, poster stalls. They always have the. One year there was people selling fudge. This year it was bubble tea, which seems to be kind of the in thing. Fortunately, there was no fudge stalls, and there was no like sword stalls. But yeah, there's other kind of non kind of gaming related ones. So that was the retail bit. I've touched on the arcades. I've touched on the home consoles, pinball tables. Yeah, the food's a bit overpriced. The bar, yeah, quite expensive. I think I'm sure it was about £6 a pint. Maybe I've got it wrong. If I've got it wrong, please tell me, because I don't want to be bad mouthing the Norbreck Castle Hotel if I've got that wrong. But I'm sure it was about £6 a pint. It wasn't cheap. Certainly wasn't cheap. But like I says, the big thing for me, it's about the people. The people it's always wonderful getting to meet all my kind of old friends, new friends, and obviously, I was very privileged getting to talk to some wonderful, wonderful guests. Every single person that I spoke to in the panel was an absolute gentleman, and in Brenda's case, a lady. Really, really good. So yeah, hopefully by the time this video goes out on Friday, the talks will be available. You'll have the indie one, you'll have the legends, and you'll also have the John Romero one. Like I said, I am going to be putting them up on my YouTube channel, and I'm also going to be putting them as a podcast. Right, listen, what I'm going to do, guys. I'm just conscious that's an hour. I'm not going to answer any questions this week, and I'm conscious that I've got questions from 2 weeks ago, so I am going to look at them next week. But please, if you've got any questions at all about Blackpool, about me doing the talks, anything at all, put the comment down below, guys. I will be along as always, hopefully on Sunday probably 7 o'clock till 9 for the usual live stream. I have got a really excellent video coming out all about the Vectrex. That will hopefully be coming out next week, as will the panel talk videos as well. So, yeah, I'm done, folks. Have a great weekend, guys. Until next time, and as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Future.